The Art of Disagreement in Business.
This campaign is all about empowering millennials to take control of their health. We can leverage social media influencers and targeted online ads to create a real buzz.
Interesting approach, Sarah. But millennials are a notoriously budget-conscious demographic. Won't a social media campaign be quite expensive?
Welcome to the Disagreement Zone. As we saw with Sarah and David, voicing a different opinion can be crucial for making well-informed decisions. But how do you disagree effectively, especially with your superiors? Let's dive into a range of strategies, from suggestive to strong, all wrapped around Sarah's pursuit of the perfect marketing campaign. Navigate. In the sentence, "You can effectively navigate disagreements," means you can find your way through a situation where people don't agree. Imagine disagreement like a bumpy road. To navigate it well, you might ask questions to understand why people disagree. Simple why works. Listen carefully to what others have to say. Find common ground, things everyone agrees on. Suggest solutions that work for everyone involved. At the end of this video, there will be a free disagreement vocabulary resource.
That's a great point, David. Cost is definitely a factor. However, social media allows us to reach a very specific audience and track results closely. Perhaps a data-driven approach could help us optimize the budget?
Notice how Sarah didn't dismiss David's concern. She acknowledged it with, "That's a great point," before presenting a solution. This builds trust and shows she's open to refining her ideas. Grammar tip. Phrases like, "That's a great point," or "I see your concern," help acknowledge the other person's perspective before introducing your disagreement.
Social media might be good for brand awareness, but wouldn't traditional advertising like TV commercials be more effective for mass reach?
That's a valid concern, too. However, TV advertising can be quite expensive and less targeted. We could potentially explore a combination of social media and more cost-effective online video ads to reach a wider audience strategically.
Here, Sarah acknowledges the colleague's suggestion, "That's a valid concern," before presenting an alternative that incorporates both ideas. This shows she's considering all angles. Grammar tip. Phrases like, "That's a valid concern," or "I see your point," acknowledge the other person's perspective, while, however, introduces your counterargument.
The social media focus seems interesting, but I'm not sure how it translates to driving sales.
I understand your concern, Lisa. Our social media strategy would be tightly integrated with targeted online ads that drive users directly to your sales platform. We can also track conversions to measure the campaign's effectiveness.
When a client raises concerns, it's vital to address them head-on. Sarah clarifies her approach and explains how it addresses the client's specific worry. This builds trust and demonstrates a focus on results. Grammar tip. Phrases like, "I understand your concern," show empathy, while explaining how your approach addresses it directly provides reassurance.
Based on our discussions, I've refined the campaign to include a mix of social media and targeted online video ads. We'll also track key metrics to ensure we're maximizing ROI.
Excellent, Sarah. This revised plan addresses my initial concerns about cost and reach. Let's move forward with this approach.
Here, Sarah addressed any misunderstandings by presenting a revised plan that incorporated the feedback she received. This collaborative approach led to a solution that everyone agreed upon. Now, let's test your disagreement skills. Test question 1. Disagreement with a colleague. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague proposes a new marketing strategy that focuses heavily on print advertising. You believe this approach might be outdated for your target audience. How can you disagree effectively? Pause the video and write your answer in the comments, then continue playing the video. Try using the following. Acknowledge their idea. That's an interesting suggestion about print advertising. Present your concern. However, I'm concerned that our target demographic might not be as receptive to traditional print media anymore. Propose an alternative. Perhaps we could explore a combination of online and offline marketing channels to reach a wider audience. Test question 2. Disagreement with a client. You're presenting your design proposal to a client, but they seem unhappy with the color scheme. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. Show empathy. I understand that the color scheme might not be exactly what you envisioned. Explain your reasoning. We chose these colors because they align with your brand's message of sustainability and eco-friendliness. Offer a solution. However, we're happy to explore some alternative color options that might better suit your preferences. Remember, the key is to be respectful, clear, and open to finding a solution that works for everyone. Test question 3. Lunch break. Mild disagreement. You're working on a tight deadline with a colleague, Sarah. Lunch break rolls around, and Sarah suggests grabbing a quick sandwich at the nearby deli. You'd prefer something healthier and more substantial. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. Acknowledge. Thanks, Sarah. A sandwich sounds good. But I was thinking maybe a salad place? I need something a little lighter to keep my energy up this afternoon. Explain. Optional. We have a lot to get done, and I feel a heavy lunch might slow me down. Compromise. How about we check out the new salad place around the corner? They have some healthy options with quick service. Write your answer in the comments. 3A. How can you rephrase your response to be more direct, suggesting a specific restaurant you prefer? Test question 4. Meeting deadlines. Moderate disagreement. Your team is discussing deadlines for a new project. A colleague, David, proposes a very ambitious timeline that you believe is unrealistic. How would you resolve this? Try using the following. Acknowledge. That's a tight timeline, David. I appreciate your ambition. Present concerns. However, I'm worried that rushing this project could compromise quality. There are several complex aspects that require careful attention. Propose alternative. Perhaps we can adjust the deadline by a few days to allow for a more thorough process. Write your answer in the comments. 4A. Imagine David insists on the original deadline. How can you address his concerns while emphasizing the importance of quality? Test question 5. Dress code. Indirect disagreement. Your company has a business casual dress code. A new colleague, Emily, arrives for her first day dressed very formally in a suit. How would you navigate this disagreement? Test question 5. Try using the following. Observe. Hey, Emily, it's great to meet you. Welcome to the team. Notice her attire without directly mentioning it. Explain. Optional. Just a heads up, our dress code here is pretty casual. Most people wear jeans and button-down shirts. Offer help. Of course, if you have any questions or need anything, please don't hesitate to ask. Write your answer in the comments. 5A. How can you subtly suggest a more relaxed outfit for Emily without being critical of her choice? If this video is helpful to you, like and subscribe so you will be notified of more videos in the series, Essential Business English for Communication. Test question 6. Email communication. Indirect disagreement. You receive an email from a client that has a demanding tone and lacks essential details about a project revision. How could you disagree effectively? Try using the following. Clarify. Thanks for your email, client name. To ensure we're on the same page, can you elaborate on the specific changes you'd like for the project? Offer help. I'm happy to discuss this further and explore different options to meet your needs. Restate timeline. Optional. Just a reminder, the original deadline for this project is date. Please let me know if the revisions will impact that timeline. Write your answer in the comments. 6A. If the client continues with a demanding tone, how can you rephrase your response to politely push back on their approach? Test question 7. Budget concerns. Moderate disagreement. You're reviewing a marketing campaign budget proposed by a colleague, John. While you agree with the overall strategy, you believe some line items are too high. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. Acknowledge. Thanks for putting this detailed budget together, John. It seems well thought out. Present concerns. However, I noticed some of the allocated amounts for specific line items seem a bit high. Perhaps we can explore cost-saving alternatives without compromising the campaign's effectiveness. Suggest solutions. For example, have we considered negotiating bulk rates with vendors or exploring open-source software options? Write your answer in the comments. 7a. Imagine John gets defensive about his budget. How can you rephrase your response to focus on finding a solution together, emphasizing cost efficiency? Test question 8. Delegation discomfort. Strong disagreement. Your manager assigns you a complex task you feel unqualified for, especially considering your current workload. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. Acknowledge. Thanks for trusting me with this task. Manager's name. I appreciate the opportunity. Explain concerns. However, I'm concerned about my current workload and the complexity of this task. I wouldn't want to compromise the quality of either. Propose solutions. Perhaps we can discuss delegating some aspects of my current workload or explore providing additional training or resources for this new task. Write your answer in the comments. 8a. If your manager insists on you taking on the task alone, how can you express your willingness to learn while emphasizing the need for support? Test question 9. Client misconceptions. Direct disagreement. A client, Lisa, has unrealistic expectations about the deliverables for a project, given the budget they approved. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. Clarify. Thanks for your feedback, Lisa. It's important to ensure we're aligned on expectations. Based on the initial project scope and budget, the deliverables would include list specific deliverables. Explain limitations. Unfortunately, incorporating the additional features you mentioned would require revising the budget or adjusting the project timeline. Offer options. We'd be happy to discuss alternative solutions to meet your needs within the agreed-upon parameters. Write your answer in the comments. 9a. Imagine Lisa becomes frustrated and insists on all the additional features. How can you calmly reiterate the limitations while offering alternative solutions that might add value? Test question 10. Supplier delays. Strong disagreement. A supplier, Acme Parts, has repeatedly delayed deliveries, jeopardizing your production schedule. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. State the problem. Manager's name. I'm concerned about the ongoing delays with Acme Parts deliveries. These delays are impacting our production schedule significantly. Present evidence. We've experienced delays on number occasions, causing a production backlog of amount. Propose solutions. I recommend contacting Acme Parts to discuss these delays and explore alternative options, such as expedited shipping. Write your answer in the comments. 10a. If Acme Parts offers excuses but no concrete solutions, how can you emphasize the urgency of the situation and the potential consequences of continued delays? Test question 11. Supplier delays. Strong disagreement. 2. A supplier, Acme Parts, has repeatedly delayed deliveries, jeopardizing your production schedule. You've contacted them multiple times, but they offer excuses and no solutions. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. State the problem with urgency. Manager's name. There's a critical situation with Acme Parts deliveries. Their repeated delays, already number times, have caused a production backlog of amount. jeopardizing our ability to meet customer deadlines. Present evidence and consequences. We have documented communication with Acme Parts detailing the delays and their lack of concrete solutions. These delays are impacting not only our production, but also our customer satisfaction and potentially our reputation. Propose solutions with a clear deadline. I propose we contact Acme Parts immediately, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. We need a firm commitment from them regarding revised delivery dates and potential penalties for further delays. If they cannot provide a satisfactory solution within time frame, we should explore alternative suppliers. Test question 11. A. Imagine Acme Parts remains unresponsive or unwilling to cooperate. How can you escalate the issue while protecting your company's interests? Suggested response. Manager's name. Given Acme Parts' continued lack of responsiveness, I recommend escalating this issue to their account manager or higher management. We may also need to consider involving our legal department to explore options for contract termination or pursuing compensation for damages caused by the delays. Now, those are very strong disagreement words. How would you respond? Test question 12. Ethical concerns. Formal disagreement. You witness a colleague, Mike, engaging in unethical business practices, such as providing misleading information to a client. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following. Approach Mike privately. Mike, I can't help but notice, briefly describe the unethical behavior. I'm concerned that this approach might not be aligned with our company's ethical standards. Explain the implications. Providing misleading information could damage our client relationship and potentially lead to legal repercussions. Our company emphasizes transparency and integrity in all our dealings. Suggest alternatives. Perhaps we can discuss alternative solutions that are both ethical and effective in meeting the client's needs. Test question 12. A. What if Mike dismisses your concerns or tries to justify his actions? How can you address this formally? Response. If Mike remains dismissive, I feel obligated to report this behavior to supervisor's name or our company's ethics hotline. My goal isn't to get Mike in trouble, but to ensure we uphold our company's ethical principles and avoid any potential consequences. By following these strategies, you can effectively navigate disagreements with suppliers who are delaying deliveries and address ethical concerns with colleagues in a professional and responsible manner. What do you think? Write your response in the comments. 12A. Test question 13. Evaluation disagreement. You disagree with your manager's performance evaluation. You believe it doesn't accurately reflect your contributions and achievements throughout the review period. How can you navigate this disagreement? Try using the following technique. Schedule a meeting. Request a follow-up meeting with your manager to discuss the performance review in more detail. This allows for a focused conversation and demonstrates your proactiveness. Express appreciation. Optional. Briefly thank your manager for taking the time to provide feedback. State your concerns directly. Clearly explain that you have some specific areas of disagreement with the evaluation. Provide evidence of your contributions. Be prepared to present specific examples, data, or metrics that demonstrate your accomplishments and contributions throughout the review period. This could include exceeding sales targets, successfully completing projects, or positive client feedback you've received. Focus on solutions. Don't only point out flaws in the evaluation. Suggest ways to improve the feedback process for future reviews, or propose specific goals for the next evaluation period.
If you have never received a negative performance evaluation that you disagreed with, write never in the comments.
How would you start the conversation with your manager? Here's an example of how you might initiate the conversation. Thank you for taking the time to go over my performance review, manager's name. I appreciate the feedback you provided. However, I would like to discuss a few areas where I believe my contributions weren't fully reflected. For example, I played a significant role in project name, which resulted in positive outcome. I also have data here showing that I exceeded the target for metric by percentage. Test question. 13A. Imagine your manager remains unconvinced by your evidence. How can you rephrase your approach and emphasize your desire for a fair and accurate evaluation? Response. I understand your perspective. Manager's name. Perhaps we can discuss ways to improve the evaluation process to ensure it accurately reflects all employee contributions in the future. Ultimately, my goal is to receive a fair and balanced evaluation that recognizes my achievements and helps me set clear goals for ongoing development. By following these steps and maintaining a professional and respectful tone, you can effectively address your concerns about your performance review and work towards a more accurate evaluation. By expressing her opinions respectfully and with clear reasoning, Sarah navigated disagreements throughout the project. This fostered a collaborative environment. Effective disagreement isn't about winning arguments. It's about promoting better communication, problem solving, and achieving the best results. But how does disagreeing with a performance review or other types of disagreement play out in your culture? Share your thoughts in the comments. Want to disagree better? We have this list of helpful words with examples in the video description. The content is organized into mild, moderate, and strong disagreement words and example sentences. Check the description for this list of words and sentences to help you disagree clearly. Now it's your turn. In the comments, share a situation where you disagreed with someone at work. How did you handle it? Let's keep the conversation going and learn from each other. By developing strong disagreement skills, you can build stronger relationships, solve problems creatively, and ultimately advance your career. Thanks for joining this lesson on the art of disagreement in business English. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more business English communication tips. Until next time, happy disagreeing.